Good morning, madam. Good morning. This is Suvarna from TTWRDC Rajanna Sirisilla. My subject is zoology. In that, I choose respiration. Human respiratory system. Respiration is done by the lungs. First, respiration when you breathe in air, then moves into windpipe, and the windpipe has tiny hair particle that traps the dust particles found in the air. And human respiratory system, first mainly we have breathing process. So lungs are sealed in pleural membranes inside the chest cavity. At the bottom of the cavity is a large flat muscle is known as diaphragm. So mainly our human respiratory system having some parts: nasal cavity, trachea, lungs, bronchi, pharynx, larynx, and bronchioles, diaphragm. So first, nasal cavity. So nasal cavity is nothing but they lie above the palate and they separated from each other by nasal septum. And this nasal cavity can differentiated into three parts: vestibular part, respiratory part, and olfactory part. And next we coming to the trachea. So trachea is an wide thin walled tube that passes through the neck on the ventral side of the esophagus. It's supported by the C-shaped cartilaginous rings which are incomplete dorsally. They keep the tracheal always open. And next, coming to the lungs. So lungs we have mainly in pair of pinkish color and spongy lungs is present inside the thoracic cavity, one on either side of the heart. Each lung is enclosed in a double layered peritoneum is called pleural membrane, and its outer layer is called parietal pleura and inner layer is called visceral pleura. These two layers are separated by pleural cavity which contain pleura fluid. This fluid act as lubricant. So the right lung has three lobes: right upper lobe, right middle lobe, right lower lobe. And left lung has two lobes: left upper lobe and left lower lobe. And mainly the lungs which are mid thoracic cavity and trachea divides into right and left bronchus is called primary bronchi. Each bronchus divides repeatedly forming secondary and tertiary bronchi and bronchioles. Mainly lungs receives deoxygenated blood through pulmonary artery, and oxygenated blood is carried out away from the lungs by pulmonary veins. And next we coming to the uh, pharynx. So pharynx which is the voice box, it's short tube like structure supported by the cartilages. And next, larynx. Larynx is also voice box, it's short tube like structure supported by cartilaginous. And next, mm, breathing which involves into the two process, one is inhalation and another one is exhalation. So during the inhalation the diaphragm moves down and ribs moves upside and outside, so thereby increasing their space in the chest cavity and leads into the movement of air inside the lungs. During the exhalation, diaphragm moves to its former to position and ribs moves downwards to and inwards, thereby reducing the size of the chest cavity. This leads to the movement of air out the lungs. And mainly in the respiratory system, first one is we discuss about the respiratory mechanisms. So respiratory mechanisms, first we uh, discuss about the external respiration and also internal respiration and cellular respiration. First, external respiration, so which influenced by the thickness and surface area of respiratory mechanism and partial pressure gradients and gas solubilities, ventilation, perfusions, coupling. And this partial pressure gradient for O2 in lungs drives O2 flow to blood. And external respiration, mainly this is then second exchange of gas occurs between the alveoli of blood flowing in capillaries around the alveoli. Oxygen diffuses into blood from alveoli and CO2 layers the blood and enters into the alveoli. So it is an external respiration which is one mechanism into the respiration. And another we coming to the internal respiration. So exchange of gas between the blood and cells of the body is nothing but the internal respiration. Means this stage represent third exchange of gas where oxygen is delivered into the cell and CO2 is released from the cells. So it's take up by blood in a manner similar to the lungs. And next we coming to the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration, which oxygen is delivered into the cells, is used to oxidize the glucose, fatty acid and amino acids to produce the energy. Mainly use of oxygen by cells to produce the ATP. And also in this respiratory mechanisms, we discussed that pulmonary ventilation also is nothing but breathing. So it is the first gas exchange into the mechanism of the respiration, and atmospheric air rich in oxygen inhaled into the alveoli of lungs, and carbon dioxide rich air present into the alveoli is exhaled. This process is called pulmonary ventilation. So it is the respiratory mechanisms. And next we coming to the mechanism of breathing. So mechanism of breathing, which includes, first, breathing means it's maximizing the process of gases exchange. Movement of air into out of the lungs is carried out by creating the pressure gradient between the lungs atmosphere. And breathing involves into two stages, they are inspiration expiration. Breathing movement are brought about a diaphragm and external internal intercostal muscles. So first, in this in this mechanism of the breathing, we see first what is inspiration. So intake of atmospheric air into the lungs is called inspiration. It is an active process as it is takes by the contraction of the muscles of the diaphragm and external intercostal muscles which extend between ribs. So friends, here inspiration is nothing but which atmospheric air which is into the lungs is called inspiration. So we here the contraction of diaphragm which increases first volume of thoracic cavity in upside which anterior posteriorly. Next, contraction of external intercostal muscles moves the rib cage forward and downward. As result, volume of thoracic cavity increases dorsoventrally and laterally. So as thoracic cavity expands, air pressure in lungs which decreases and atmospheric air is drawn into the alveoli of lungs. So which is, so it's about the inspiration which including into the mechanism of the breathing. And another we coming to the expiration. So release of alveolar air. So here you can see, in before we discuss that inspiration atmospheric air into the lungs, here air to the exterior, so outside of the lungs, so it's called as expiration. So normal expiration is an passive. So before we see that active in inspiration, but expiration, we coming to the expiration, so it is a passive process. So it does not involve into the contraction of the muscle, so only relaxation of muscle of diaphragm. So it makes the diaphragm dome shaped, due to which volume of thoracic cavity decreases. So you can see here, so why the diaphragm becomes dome shaped means, so here the thoracic cavity which volume is decreasing has anterior posteriorly, then it's making the dome shaped of diagram. So relaxation of external intercostal muscles moves rib cage and its original position. As a result, the volume of thoracic cavity decreases dorsoventrally. So you can see, when the when thoracic cavity is decreases from anterior posteriorly, so here relaxation can be takes place, and here the that results becomes volume of thoracic cavity decreases dorsoventrally, and here decrease in thoracic cavity cause elastic recoil of lungs and expulsion of air from alveoli into the atmosphere. So an average of healthy human beings, so who can healthy human breathes 12 to 16 times minute per minute. So the volume of the air involved in breathing movement can be estimated by using the spirometer. So spirometer we can use, uh, which is breathing movements can be estimated by this spirometer. So here, so we completed this mechanism of breathing which is included to the respiratory system. So next we going to discuss about some pigments about the respiration. So respiration pigments, so respiratory pigments are colored substances, so which are in color, so which are mainly present into the blood. Friends, you can see the pigments which are mainly present into the blood, so which are transporting the oxygen and CO2 molecules. So they are colored proteins which contains metallic ion also, so they play an important role into the transport of O2 and CO2. So the following important respiratory pigments, so which are commonly meet within the animals. So they are nothing but hemoglobin, hemocyanin, hemoerythrin, chlorocrenin, pinaglobin, vanadium, echinochrome, and malphiedin. So these are respiratory pigments which are including into our respiratory system. So first we see, so what is first pigment is a hemoglobin which is present in our body. So hemoglobin metal ions that bind to and carry out the oxygen molecules. All the vertebrates, some molluscs, annelids, crustaceans, and which having this, and iron ion oxygenated red and deoxygenated is become dark red. So in all the kingdom but not all the organisms. So hemoglobin is a red colored respiratory pigment which present into the blood. It occurs in a vertebrates in a few holothurians. So friends, you can see, so hemoglobin we commonly observe in our human body now. So this blood is mainly present into the, I mean this hemoglobin, I mean the pigment of respiratory, so which is mainly is found in the muscles of blood and muscles of birds and mammals. The hemoglobin that present in the muscle is called myoglobin. So myoglobin is nothing but what, friends? So the hemoglobin is present into the muscles is called myoglobin. So it helps to store oxygen temporarily in the muscles, and the molecular weight of the hemoglobin we can see into the Daltons. So 68,000 Daltons we can see the hemoglobin in our blood. So hemoglobin is a chromoprotein conjugated protein which is composed of two components, namely protein component is called globin and next non-protein component is nothing but heme. So hemoglobin combines with the oxygen to form the oxyhemoglobin. So combination is loon. At low oxygen pressure, it leaves oxygen forming reduced hemoglobin. One hemoglobin molecule can bind with 4 molecules O2. So hemoglobin plus O2 present in lungs, in tissues is gives oxyhemoglobin means HbO2. So hemoglobin transports the O2 from lungs to cells and CO2 from cells to lungs. So this is about the hemoglobin, which is a respiratory pigment. And next one is hemocyanin. So hemocyanin is a which is in blue colored respiratory pigment. So molecule hemocyanin consists of one copper atom and a peptide chain of about 200 amino acids. So hemocyanin occurs into the blood of plasma, gastropods and cephalopods and crustaceans. So it is used in transport of gases O2, CO2 like that. And next friends, hemocyanin is mainly the molecular weight difference different animal groups. For example, helix. So you know helix. So helix is an 66,000 and for Pelinules is a 47,000 for octopus, 27,000 Daltons for different organisms. So it is about the hemocyanin. And next we coming to the hemoerythrin. So hemoerythrin is reddish in violet colored pigment. So it is formed of iron proteins. So the iron is directly attached to the protein and there is no porphyrin. So friends, we completed three pigments. Fourth one is chlorocrinium. So chlorocrin is a green colored pigment. So we see here blue colored and reddish color. So now green color. So this green color pigment who means it was discovered by the Mylan Edwards in annelids. So it is an iron containing blood pigment. So its distribution is restricted to polychaetes, annelids, which closely allied to hemoglobin. So pinaglobin is brown colored pigment. So it is another pigment, new pigment. So which is blue colored, brown colored. So manganese containing blood pigment, it occurs into the blood fluid of pinna. So next vanadium. So it is green colored pigment. It is vanadium is containing pigment. It is present in the blood cells of the vanadicytes of acidians. So next one is echinochrome. So here echinochrome is nothing but red colored pigment. It is an iron containing pigment. It occurs in the coelomic fluid of sea urchins. And malphidian, it occurs into the holothurians. Next we coming to the in our respiratory system, we mainly we completed that mechanism and respiratory mechanisms and mechanism in breathings. Now they, how can they transport the gases? So first oxygen mainly transport in our lungs, and next one is carbon dioxide so far. So first transport of gases. So atmospheric air which is enters in the lungs by inspiration. From the lungs, oxygen diffuses into the blood, and the blood carries the oxygen to the cells. The cells takes the oxygen for oxidation. Oxidation release carbon dioxide. Then that CO2 from cells to diffuse into the blood. Then blood carries the carbon dioxide to lungs for removal of that. And next, here transport of first gas is oxygen. So oxygen from lungs to cells is called O2 transport, mean oxygen transport. So oxygen is transported from the lungs to cells through plasma and RBC of blood. So first, transport of oxygen through plasma. So first, the transport of oxygen through plasma means first oxygen does not easily dissolves in water, because of there are therefore only about 3% of oxygen is transported in dissolved state in blood plasma. So then the oxygen is mainly transported by the plasma only. So next one is transport of oxygen by RBC. So here before we discuss that plasma, now we can discuss about how the oxygen is transported by the RBC. So about 97% of O2 is transported by the RBC in the blood. So arterial blood contains 200 ml of oxygen for 100 ml of blood. Venous blood contains 15 ml of oxygen per 100 ml of blood. So O2 carrying capacity of blood will be higher when blood contains more hemoglobin. So the most important property of hemoglobin is that loosely attaches with the oxygen to form the oxyhemoglobin. So when O2 pressure in the blood is high, then similarly it dissociates readily with the oxygen. When O2 pressure is lesser in the blood, each hemoglobin molecule combines with the 4 molecules of oxygen. So it's about the oxygen, how it's transported into the RBC. So when O2 is rich in blood, so it passes through tissues, then hemoglobin dissociates from oxygen, then this oxygen diffuses out from the blood through the capillary wall and enters into the tissues. The hemoglobin returns into the lungs and again transports in new oxygen molecules. So we can see that how the oxygen can dissociates, means we can see that oxygen dissociation curve. So here the oxygen dissociation curve describes relationship between partial pressure of oxygen and percentage of saturation of oxygen. So partial pressure of oxygen, it can be shown into the x-axis, and percentage of saturation of oxygen can be represented into the y-axis. So sigmoid or S-shaped. So when O2 pressure is low the percentage of oxyhemoglobin, then its formed it will be also lesser. So how the oxyhemoglobin is formed means formation of oxyhemoglobin in the lungs due to following three factors. One is high O2 tension and low CO2 tension, normal pH of blood, then that is 7.4, low temperature. So these factors mainly caused for the formation of the oxyhemoglobin in our blood. So next, dissociation of the oxyhemoglobin. For, before formation of oxyhemoglobin, three factors. Dissociation of oxyhemoglobin also caused by the three factors, means high carbon dioxide tension and low CO2 tension. And this CO2 tension of venous blood is 46 mm and O2 tension is 40 mm. So slightly acidic pH and in the venous blood, rise in temperature in the tissues. And also we can observe here Bohr's effect. So Bohr effect is nothing but what means we know already. We in inter we discuss about Bohr effect in respiration. Bohr's effect is nothing but concentration of carbon dioxide is high in the tissues, which helps to unload the oxygen from oxyhemoglobin. So affect the CO2 and H plus on the oxygen. Affinity of hemoglobin is nothing but the Bohr effect. So CO2 concentration is higher in tissues when blood containing oxyhemoglobin. So passes through the tissues. Affinity hemoglobin for O2 is reduced because of higher concentration of CO2. So this is about the transport of oxygen in our blood plasma through in RBC, like that. Next, transport of carbon dioxide. How the carbon dioxide is transported in our body. So the transport of CO2 from tissues in lungs through blood is called CO2 transport, and CO2 is continuously produced into the cells. Adult man produced about 200 ml of CO2 per minute. So as we see into the carbon dioxide is transported from tissues to lungs. in three forms. One is like acid, carbonic acid, carboamino compounds, bicarbonates. As carbonic acid has about 7% of CO2 dissolves in plasma to form carbonic acid. In carbamino compounds, we see that 23% of CO2 is carried as carbamino compound. CO2 combines with amino group and plasma proteins to form the carbamino compounds. So these compounds may be uh, carried to the lungs, where as takes place into the reactions. So here we observe that chloride shift. So chloride shift is nothing but is also called as Hamburger phenomenon. So chloride shift is also came in inter, we studied that already, is nothing but which transport of carbon dioxide in the form of bicarbonate ions in the blood. So when carbon dioxide diffuses into the plasma, so it forms cells. Most it enters into the red blood cells and along with water molecules inside the RBC of carbon dioxide, which react with water to form the carbonic acid, which dissociates from the H plus and HCO3, has level of increase in the erythrocytes. So um, we can completed that transport of gases also. So now regulation of respiration is also there. So in that nervous control, chemical control has